Hello and welcome back to the channel once again. This is Lealan Presents. This is part 2, or rather chapter 2 of our 3-part horror series. Our, what did I call it? Halloween horror movie clash.
Yes.
2022. If you haven't seen the first part where we cover the... I should probably do the other introductions first, shouldn't I? I'm Alan. That's Leanne.
Hey. We know who we are.
But these people might not, so we need to... If you haven't seen the first part, we've covered 8 of the 16 films already. We haven't put the bracket on screen in a big format just yet. I'll do it at some point through this video, maybe around here. Who knows? I'll sort that out.
We'll see.
And we've covered 8 films already. Do you want to run us down on what those 8 films were, Leanne? Without cheating?
This isn't cheating. You never said there was a test. We watched Scream, the new version. Studio 666. Speak No Evil. X. I might be putting these in the wrong order because I can't remember.
You know.
The Black Phone.
Oh.
Choose or Die.
There we go. Choose or Die was before.
Oh, it was.
First.
We did it the other way around.
I think we were short on time that
probably.
day, so.
And then Pray, and then Incantation.
Other way around.
Other way around.
Incantation and Pray
Incantation.
would have been in terms of release,
Pray.
but we obviously Pray was the first one we watched. So.
Yeah.
So that was the first 8 we've covered. If you haven't already seen those, our impressions, our thoughts of those 8 movies, go back. We'll put a link somewhere around here, like there or there.
It's in a corner somewhere.
There or
If
there.
you
It's somewhere.
It's somewhere.
Somewhere. Go check that out and then come back here for the second half with the second 8 movies. So we're going to be 16 in total. So what we've done, just a brief rundown, in case you can't be bothered to go and watch the first one and you just want to sort of watch from here, that's fine as well. You don't have to do anything that we say. Do what you want, as long as it's legal.
You do you.
YOLO. Can't believe I just said that.
We're too old for this.
Ew. Ew. What we've done is we've got 16 movies that have released this year, up until this point, obviously, and we've kind of put them into a tournament bracket. And then we're going to kind of talk about them, narrow it down, and get that what we think is the ultimate horror movie that has come out in the year of 2022. If this is well received, or even if we just feel like it, we're going to do the same again next year anyway.
Yes.
So. So we go through 5 different 6 categories, sorry. Of each film. The spook/gore factor, story, sound, acting, villain, and visuals. We aren't giving scores yet. Scores may come into effect when we get to the 3rd episode of this series, chapter 3. But as it stands right now, we're not giving out scores. We know the scores. We've obviously collated everything. We've got our information and stuff. We haven't told each other what the scores are for each one, as long as Leanne doesn't look at my notes.
Peeking.
I got my glass on. I can't see that far anyway. I can, but you know. But that's going to be discerned if we need to sort of talk about different things in the 3rd episode when we're going through the matchups of the films themselves.
Yes.
So as such, I'll pop the bracket on the screen somewhere around here so you can see all 16 movies in their glory. Gory glory. Hey. And I'll probably leave it up for a little bit here. Just so you guys can sort of look and sort of see all 16 movies.
Yeah,
and the brackets are kind of just gone random. There's no rhyme or reason. It's just like cherry picked this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, etc., etc. Okay. So on to our second of the 8, second half of the 16 movies. So the second 8. So starting with film number 9, because I'm gonna number them in the order that we've sort of obviously up to 16. Starting with film number 9, which was Nope. Had a release date of the 12th of August in 2022, obviously. The director was Jordan Peele. The main actors are Daniel Kaluuya, KK Palmer, was it Kiki? Might be Kiki Palmer, and Brandon Perea. With a runtime of 2 hours and 10 minutes, this is actually the longest film on our clash.
Yes.
Take it away, Leanne.
Spook/gore. I wasn't too spooked by this one.
No.
There was some sort of scary moments, but I think mainly down to the artistry rather than an actual scary thing. You did sort of, I felt like the reveal of what the thing was a bit too soon. So it started out
that kind of takes the tension away, because once you know what something is, you kind of like,
exactly. And I felt that with quite a few of the films in this thing. So you found out what it was, and then it was I guess it was a monster flick rather than a straight horror.
Yeah.
So it's I was expecting it to be with a title like Nope, something a bit more.
Yeah.
I don't know, really tense and like you just want to back out.
Like the previous to Get Out on Us.
Yeah.
They're tense, you know. But this, as you say, just didn't really.
Yeah, it's a monster flick.
Have that tense. And like the beginning starts, and it was great when you got the things falling up the sky, and then obviously that coin gets embedded into the father's head,
cool.
and the key ggets lodged into a horse, and all this kind of stuff. And it was like, okay, that's a cool visual.
Yeah, and there was some good like tension building moments with the flappy arms people.
Yeah. But like but what I'm getting at is in the beginning when it starts off, it's quite because you don't know what it is. It's like, is it an electromagnetic pulse? Is it a military weapon? Is it an alien? Is it a ghost? Is it a monster? We don't know at that point. And then they're just gonna go, oh yeah, it's an alien. Oh. Okay, well that was a bit anticlimactic.
Yeah, it's an alien. Now what?
Yeah. So. Yeah, as you say, there's not really much in the terms of spook, and there wasn't really much gore either.
No, really. There wasn't. There was, I guess, implied. Yeah. And there was the blood pouring onto the house, which was pretty cool.
That comes on more on the visuals.
Yeah.
But when I saw that, it reminded me of Slayer, just raining blood.
Yeah.
Great song. The kids when he's in the barn and the kids dressed as aliens, that was kind of creepy, and you're like. That's really cool. And you can see that it almost looked quite unnatural. It's obviously filmed that way, and it's in the dark, and it's filmed that way to make it look unnatural.
And then I was like, oh.
And then you see the one hanging right beside him, and it's just boom. Oh, don't mess with the Jupiter, whatever the thing was called.
Yeah,
and I'm like, it's just a bunch of kids. So
but up until that point, that was probably the scariest scene in the film.
Yeah.
And it was kids.
Yeah. I mean, I think the only real gore in the film was when the monkey went nuts, or the chimpanzee rather, Gordy.
That was pretty cool, but we'll cover that as well in the story.
Yeah, this is more sort of like gore as well in terms of that. So that when you do see sort of, cool. You don't really see much, but you hear the thumping of and the wet noise. Yeah, and it's like and obviously as a byproduct you get to see with the survivor and her face is mangled and mutilated.
Yeah,
and that was pretty cool.
That was pretty cool.
And after the interview, as I say, once the entity was established, there was no spooks, no sort of tension, really, not really.
Sad. In terms of story, it was well written, I think.
Yes, I agree with that.
But some elements just didn't really tie in, or I don't know, like the stuff with the chimp was pretty cool. Yeah. But the only links, I guess, tenuously, you had the park owner. Who had been a survivor of that attack. Because of that, felt like he could tame monsters, so he was trying to tame the alien, I guess. But that's like a stretch, using my own imagination to fill it in.
I think it was more meant to be, this is a sideshow attraction. I figured out that this thing only does this when the horses are there. Let me use these horses to my fight, which is why he's buying up all the horses.
So then where does the monkey stuff tie in?
It doesn't.
It didn't
It really doesn't.
It didn't show his trauma for the guy, even though he had like one flashback, but then he was.
But I guess maybe that's what it is. You could see the woman was hiding her face, and she was clearly traumatized by that because she wasn't willing to show her face.
But then that didn't have anything to do with the main plot.
Yeah. What I'm getting at is though he wasn't. He was just like.
Yeah.
So does that show his inhumanity?
Maybe, I don't know. I felt like it didn't really.
Yeah, it did. There wasn't much of a payoff.
No.
Yeah, it wasn't much of a payoff.
A couple of things like that sort of didn't really go anywhere. But there was some very interesting characters and just like story beats that just worked really well and sort of kept you interested, even though it wasn't scary. That doesn't mean it's not a good film. That's my take.
The one thing I quite liked was that the alien only sort of seemed to like organic material. Obviously, it spat up the horse, who was spitting out keys and coins and other bits and pieces, and that was kind of cool.
Like swallows them all and then throws up all the rubbish.
But it kind of it's a bit too on the nose in terms of War of the Worlds as well. Yeah. If you think of the Tom Cruise War of the Worlds with the heat ray, it would only vaporize organic material. So it's very similar to that in a sense.
Hadn't made that link.
The one thing that did bug me is when you got that doing the experiment with all the electrics and the fleet little 2-arm men thingies, and this bike starts driving down the thing, and it's like, oh yeah, TMZ.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that guy. He was another didn't tie in plot
point
for me.
Why?
He was I don't know.
The story lost points on that for me because of that.
And he obviously was there to make you hate him, so you wouldn't mind that he gets killed.
Yeah, and obviously to like the main actor more because he was trying to save him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, totally agree. Sound.
Yep.
When people were being digested was pretty good, and the fact that they get like sucked up into the alien, and then it's flying about doing whatever, and you're with the people on the ground, and you can just hear the screams just going from one end to the other as it's flying over.
Because we have a surround system as well,
which
works really well with that, and it was quite a good effect.
It was, and they're like muffled because they're inside the thing, and like the sounds. And even just at the start where you had the initial coins falling from the sky thing, and you didn't know what was happening. Just the sound of those hitting the ground and make you think, is that hail? Is that something? What is that?
Is it gunfire or is it like shrapnel? And obviously it was shrapnel at that point. But,
I thought it was quite well done. But
no, I agree. Yeah.
Music-wise, nothing particularly special.
No, nothing stood up for me music-wise either. One thing that got me a little bit was some of the re-recorded lines. Obviously they do recording on location. Yeah. Obviously, and sometimes wind and rain and whatever will obviously just obscure some of those recordings. Some of the redubbed lines were a bit jarring. Yeah,
like they were definitely for sure
there was
in
one
a different location.
Yeah, there was one. I think someone was going up a set of stairs, and one was on the bottom talking, and it was crystal clear. Yeah. And the very next sentence, you could do loads of background noise, and it switched like that. Yeah. It wasn't a gradual. It wasn't like something coming in. It was like boom, instant. It was like.
I feel that's
that's jarring.
That's something that a filmmaker can fix somehow.
Yeah. Oh no, it is. Yeah, easily. Yeah. Even if you sort of do a re-recording of all the lines of that scene and then put some extra background noise in, there would be ways around it. There's absolutely ways. You could probably caught it. Yeah, there's probably ways in the mixer desk where you can pull bits out as well, like backing tracks and vocals, like in songs. You can do stuff like that. Yeah.
If it's that obvious to the viewer, the editor should be able to. See it.
So I don't know why that wasn't picked up.
No.
I don't know if this would fall under sound or story, but when he's out in the field trying to catch the horse that got away, and she starts playing some music, and he's like 500, 600, 700 yards away, whatever it is, and where he is, he's like hearing this music like ridiculously loud, and he's like, turn it down. Sound doesn't really work that way.
Yeah,
it wouldn't travel that far unless you're at a festival with a whole stack of speakers.
Yeah.
And all that was a shitty little hi-fi.
And even if that sound did carry, yelling turn it down, that's not gonna
exactly.
carry back.
So I guess that kind of links back into story a little bit as well. Also the walkie-talkies cutting out.
Yeah.
The way that the energy pulse would kick in, it would knock it off straight off, but this sounded like
it's winding down.
A Walkman, like a tape player losing battery.
Yeah, that was really interesting because it's not that the power instantly cuts, it's as the thing gets closer, it sort of dies down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That's good.
I thought the sound, as you say, the use of the sound for the alien was really good, and obviously the chimpanzee. How they got those noises, I don't know if they just aggravated a chimpanzee in the zoo and recorded it or something, or
maybe there's some stock
sounds. I don't know, but yeah, that was pretty good.
All right, acting. I thought this was really good for the most part.
Agreed.
The main character's voice is so low, and I think maybe too low. I don't know, and the way he played his character, very, very, very straight-faced, very serious,
very stoic. Yeah,
but it's sort of I guess it's people are like that. There are some people like that, but it sort of almost verged on acting disinterested. So it pulled me up a little bit.
Yeah,
when he was just so straight the whole way, just no emotion.
Like you're being chased by this massive ship coming at you, or a alien coming at you, and he's just like,
there's probably people like that.
I was extremely happy to see Michael Wincott show up.
Yes.
Anyone who doesn't know Michael Wincott, he's a fantastic actor. He was in Alien Resurrection. Don't hate him, hate the film. And he was also top dollar in The Crow, which is the first time I ever saw him, and he's a phenomenal actor. He's got that distinct voice.
Oh yeah, that voice is gravelly.
So good.
Good stuff. Cool.
The only parts of the acting I didn't particularly care for was when they were on the set at the beginning of the movie. Yeah. And there's a couple of people I like that actress, the blonde-haired actress, who just didn't seem right. Yeah. I don't know if that was meant to be part of the character, maybe, but it felt a bit too hammy. Yeah. A bit too forced.
Played like a comedy.
Yeah.
An actress in a horror movie. But she did. Am I imagining that she had like a little chihuahua with her Is that my
I
imagination?
think you're imagining that, yeah. I don't remember seeing Chihuahua.
It seems to... If you imagine, like, trying to imagine the character, just imagine carrying a Chihuahua in, like, a fluffy handbag, and you'll get exactly what we mean.
Yeah.
No,
she didn't, but yeah.
Weird. Villain?
Yep.
Really interesting twist on alien/UFO. So obviously, to start with, it looks like, well, when you eventually see it, it looks like a UFO. But then it's like, no,
just with a suck hole on the bottom of it.
That's just what it looks
for
like.
lack of a better
term. And turning almost into a kaiju film.
Yeah.
And I did really
I literally thought you were going to say almost turning into a bed sheet then.
Well, yeah. Seeing the inside of it was really interesting. You don't see that in any films.
I was talking with a friend in work the other day about this, actually, because he's seen this film as well. He's curious what I thought about it. And that first time when you see them get sucked into the sort of people in the Jupiter's drain or whatever, I can't remember the name of the place. Yeah. But when they get sucked into the creature, and it almost looks like a bouncy castle just kind of crushing them.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, but you know that's its like esophagus.
Yeah. But it's
crazy.
different, and it's like, okay, that was a cool, you know.
Yeah. I like the idea of sort of thinking of it like any other creature with rules, so having that relatable kind of the OJ, I think his name was, who knew how to look after a horse and what it would react to, and using those same rules on the creature. Little bit of a stretch that it would have the same no eye contact kind of thing, but it worked. It's fine. And then it's sort of merging into visuals with the creature when near the end where it just opens out. I thought that was really pretty cool. Yeah.
It's almost like it was getting agitated, and it was like, oh.
Yeah, like it's billowing, like it's showing its size and like the aggressor rather than the stealth hiding in a cloud.
It's like they say when you come across a bear, you make yourself bigger and make yourself look threatening and sound threatening, like bigger than you are, and it kind of puts the bear off, kind of,
Yeah, I quite like the villain. But, again, more monster than horror.
I liked that it was just a basic need to feed.
Yeah.
It was just hunger, and he was just like, I'm hungry.
You're just hungry.
Beaten by a balloon, though, that's a bit weak.
Exploded.
What?
I guess it's using, like he said, it didn't like, it couldn't digest the inanimate objects,
But why that one and not the others? Could they spat the others out?
So, what's in my head, this thing is filled with pressurized air, like helium. Yeah. And as it sucks things in and it's squeezing, so it just pops, and that force of all that pressurized air just blows the thing apart. That's what's in my head.
Maybe.
It may be a stretch scientifically, but hey, it's a monster film.
Okay.
Yeah, I get it. Anything else on that one?
Nope.
Cool. Visuals? Same stuff about the monster. Raining blood.
Raining blood.
Yes.
Anytime I get to say the words raining blood, I'm going to do it.
I don't know. I don't quite get. I guess it's the...
Raining blood.
It had the indigestion from the metal horse, which is why it couldn't digest the blood.
Yeah, maybe.
I think because it was like sort of after it spat the horse out.
It was doing the same time, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, because it was over the house, wasn't it? But then you just got the house just drenched.
So I think they probably took in the bunch of people, and then he was digesting those. He was like, I should probably top up. Had the horse, and then he was like, bleh.
Blood.
Pretty much.
Yep. Yeah, I think that sort of pretty covers it. It was pretty good.
And we kind of covered all the visuals of it looked like a giant bed sheet floating in the sky.
Yeah, but then it had the square bit in the middle that sort of like almost
pulsed and kind of
flourished, and I don't know. It was interesting seeing the sort of geometric with the abstract, I suppose.
One thing with the visuals as well, and I'd put it in Spook Factor for some reason. I don't know why I put it up there.
Is it spooky?
It should have been straight. But when two things. So the sister, whose name escapes me, was on that bike from the TMZ person.
Yes.
That's the only reason that person was there to put this bike in the field. I think.
Yeah.
Gets up to this Jupiter's, whatever it's called, because they're running away from the alien. Because they're kind of trying to bait it back and forth and whatnot. She does that slide in the dust.
Yes.
And the first thing I said to you was?
Akira.
Yeah. It looks so much like that when the bike slides. And it was like, okay,
cool
that's kind of cool.
Stick that in a film if you can.
But when the alien, obviously, she gets there before the alien does.
Yeah. And
she primes all the camera with the coins. She's getting it to try and get a photo and whatnot. Okay, yeah, great. So that's the whole premise. They're trying to get a video or photo of this thing. Then, to defeat the alien, And then all the sounds and the lights come on. But it's been shut down by the police. So it wouldn't have. Because everything was turned off. That made no sense to me.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that.
No
That's
sense.
Interesting.
No sense. But yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. Not a bad film.
Yeah. Okay. On to film number 10. This was The Invitation. The release date of the 26th of August. Directed by Jessica M. Thompson. Stars Nathalie Emmanuel, Thomas Doherty, and Sean Pertwee. Yes. With a runtime of 1 hour and 45 minutes. Nathalie Emmanuel was Melisandre in Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay.
She was Daenerys' kind of handmaiden? I don't quite know.
Yeah, this... okay. Let's get into Spook. There were a couple of scary moments in it, I thought.
Yeah.
I liked when the maid went into the library. I thought there was some good moments in that.
I agree.
It's one of those, again, that falls victim to as soon as you know what's happening. It's like, okay, I get you.
And we'll talk a bit more about that in sound, because that was quite a prevalent thing with that.
The Spook died down. There wasn't a huge amount of gore. There was some... But it was sort of used quite sparingly.
Yeah.
It might be a good thing.
The beginning was good where the woman sort of decapitates herself with a piano wire.
That was pretty good.
And it was like, well, that's a bit excessive.
Or is it?
Well, yeah, afterwards you get through the film you understand, but I was like, that's a bit excessive.
Yeah, so I wouldn't say it was a scary film or particularly gory.
No.
But it had some moments.
Yeah. There was some pretty creepy vibes when Evie's sleeping in the bed and she's got that canopy on it and you've got that creature on top of it.
That was one of the high moments too.
But then the problem with that is you kind of knew that the Lord of what was his name? Walt was going to come in and save her. It was too obvious.
You knew.
Too obvious.
That's moving neatly into story.
Or... Just one last thing. The one thing that actually got me on super edge was when they're having the pedicures or the manicures.
Oh, the sound.
Because they're clipping it, and it's like, and I there's one thing I can't do with anything gory is nails, and I thought it was going to be something a lot worse.
I have put something about that in sound.
Okay,
as well,
yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, cool.
We'll get there. Yeah.
So
story, like you were saying, quite predictable.
Yeah.
Right from the start, didn't I say it's vampires?
You did.
Right
you did.
From the start.
Yeah. So it looks like a steak. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and they said you have to feed mass vampires. It's gotta be. So yeah, we knew. But I guess there's some parts where it sort of tried to hide it, a bit like with like the figure on the canopy and that sort of thing. It's like, oh, it's actually ghost.
That's kind of like me going though, chocolate bar. You can't see it, therefore it's hidden.
It's not chocolate.
Well, no, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, that's what. Yeah.
That's kind of that's the vibe I got from it. It didn't really do a good job of hiding anything.
No, it did.
Let's be perfectly honest.
It was obvious. There were some bits that, like in Nope, some story points that just didn't really fit or they weren't resolved. That sort of didn't happen. Like talking about the shrieks, the apparently suicidal birds.
Yeah.
That I feel like they only mentioned that there were bars on the window because of the shrieks that peck people's eyes out, so that they could have the jump scare of the bird flying into the window.
But the bird would be able to get in through the bars anyway.
Yeah.
Because they're only like...
I guess really it was a distraction because the bars were there to stop her getting out.
Yeah.
If that was the case, there's no need to have the bird, the shrike, flying into the window because it was meant to be a red herring.
Yep.
Red herring flying into the window. The wolves as well. There was mention of wolves and you heard wolf sounds. Nothing. No reason for it apart from to put some spooky sounds in the background.
What would have been cool with that is if they'd had shown someone setting up a tape recorder towards the sort of half or quarter, 3/4 way.
Yeah.
Sort of putting a tape recorder or something or a speaker in the woods and sort of making sure. Yeah.
Artificial spooky.
Yeah. To keep everyone in the manor again.
Yeah.
You know.
And the other bit that was like, why is that there? It's the nesting dolls.
Yeah, that didn't go anywhere either.
I really thought, because they made a big thing of, that's a gift from the Maids of Honor, and then I thought it would have some significance, but there was nothing at all.
So I got 3 points which I didn't like.
Yeah.
She went for a jog. She was like, I'm going to go for a run, a jog, or whatever you want to call it. So we cut to her jogging, and she's like 300 yards from the house, and she's like, like...
She probably ran down the stairs as well. There's a lot of stairs.
There's a lot of stairs, yeah, to be fair. But, like, if you're going to do that, at least have maybe like a 20-second thing of having her go into the countryside, a bit of the woods or the house, and then having her come close to the house. Because as it stands, though, you've gone from our front door down to the end of the street, and you're like...
Oh, but that is true for me. Maybe she doesn't jog much, and this was like she was going to do this trip as a brand new start, and she's going to take over jogging.
The second one is obviously she's kind of twigged on to what's going on, and she's like offering us she's being married to the lord of the house, or the vampire, or whatever, and they're all sitting down for that dinner. Mm-hmm. And she's like, oh, won't somebody please help me? You're in a house with people who are vampire supporters.
Yeah, but...
You're the only one there who isn't. I don't care how desperate you are.
The housemaid lady, she is
Well, yeah,
fine.
but that was only because she was tired of seeing this happening. Yeah. She's been serving the Lord for years, right? And then, like, if that's me, I'm just like, well, I'm not even wasting my breath, because I'm clearly not going to get anywhere.
Yeah.
That just felt like a stupid decision to me.
Grab something and start stabbing.
Yeah. And then when she did get out... Right, part number three. When she got out, you see her come up, and it's just about sort of the sun's cresting over the thing, and it's hitting dawn, and she sees the town.
Yeah.
Must be like, what, 2 miles away, max? Really? Maybe 3 at a push? But when she gets to the town, it's night time.
Are you sure it wasn't the sun going down rather than the sun coming up?
Vampires come out at night. Well, I'm pretty sure it was sun coming up.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it was sun coming up. Because I think they were having the dinner, and then they went down, and it was the sun coming up after she was running.
We've already established her fitness levels. She probably had to have a break.
Talk about tortoise on the hair. But yeah, no, that was ridiculous.
There's some good stuff, but mostly not, I suppose.
Yeah.
Sound stuff.
Bat sounds are overused.
Yeah, bat sounds. Wolf sounds made no sense.
Yeah.
Near the start, at the start, like the before credits bit with the original lady of the house, before she decapitates herself, there's the view of the piano, and the foreshadowing is like the sound of piano strings stretching and sort of twanging, and that was really, I really liked that. It sort of foreshadowed what's going to happen a bit, and it's a really creepy sound. It just sets you on edge, so I did like that.
Some of the tension music with I think it was like a violin or something. They were just plucking the strings to make that was kind of kind of
Yeah,
that kind of sets you on edge a little bit. Stuff.
And it's not used as much, and it's not like the
standard
should be.
Yeah, it should be
thing. The manicure, the sound of the clipping was magnified so much, and just like the camera going back to it, so it really does set you on edge and make you think something bad is gonna happen. I thought that was clever. Because it's meant to be that relaxing experience, having a manicure and a spa day, and there's obviously the maid of honor, the tall one, showing her true colours, sort of thing. So it sort of builds that tension in a place that's meant to be serene. So that was pretty good.
Yeah, I got nothing else.
Cool, good stuff. Acting, not too bad.
Yeah, I've got decent. The script let everyone down.
Yeah, there was a little bit over the top in some places.
Yeah. For me, the tall bride I felt was the weak link. Yeah. I think she was probably the worst one of the lot.
Yeah, I think you might be right there.
Do you know who wasn't the worst one of the lot? Sean frickin' Pertwee.
Well, yeah.
Because that man is an acting god, just like his dad was.
Yeah.
I find it funny though he's playing a butler again. Because he played Alfred in Gotham.
Yeah, typecasting much?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's some good stuff.
Yeah,
it wasn't bad.
To be fair,
for the type of film it is, you kind of expect it to be a bit rubbish, but yeah.
A bit ropey, I think you're gonna say that.
Awesome. Yeah, villain, vampires.
Yeah.
Obviously. Yeah, and as soon as the reveal happened, then it's like, okie dokie. These are vampires. They're gonna do vampire stuff.
You don't really see an actual. Fully converted, like a fully transitioned vampire until right at the end, and it looked janky as hell.
It wasn't great. I had a bit of problem in that the final fight scene. they had this thing once the vampire thing was revealed, and it was like, oh yes, you can join us and you will be 10 times stronger than the average man. And then they're fighting and they're not that much stronger than the average man. They did like a couple of throws across the room using strings or something, but there was a definite imbalance there. It just didn't look great.
No.
They could have done a lot more with vampire fights, because vampire fights could be so cool.
Yeah. I mean, look at things like Underworld, Blade.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. There's one called John Carpenter's Vampires, which is pretty good. Lost Boys. That's a classic vampire film.
Yeah.
You know.
I guess in this,
there's someone watching this going, Nosferatu, you heathen. Yes, I know. But we're talking about more modern kind of.
Was that vampire fights in Nosferatu?
No, that's what I'm getting at. More modernised, sort of.
You only had you had the what's his face? The main vampire, Walt. You had the 2 brides, and then the girl, Evie, becomes a vampire.
I think it was Victoria and Lucy.
Something like that.
I think.
But her conversion, I think they hint at, isn't complete because he hasn't drunk her blood, so she isn't quite as strong as the others. So that bit was okay, but like the female vampires fighting her was not.
No.
I don't want to say not realistic, because of course it's not realistic, but it didn't fit with the narrative. It's
like when like Popeye, right?
Yeah.
And someone's fighting Popeye, and then he takes his spinach, and he's like, that was her.
Yeah.
She ate her spinach when she really shouldn't have been able to do half that stuff, because as you say, she hasn't got the full power yet. And
yeah.
But here we are, taking on, well, I would say 2, but it's not. It's 1, and then the other one Jobber.
Yeah.
I did find the Vampire Lord Walt guy, the Walt dude, was a bit too overconfident for my liking.
Yeah.
He was just so blasé about it, and it's like, well, you know, if you want this thing to actually happen, you need to stop her escaping. Why you just sat there like a chump stain?
Yeah.
You know?
I guess he knew she wouldn't get him.
And then when he comes out and he just gets his ass kicked, and it's like, well, that was pointless.
Yeah, he wasn't a great
Awesome. Which kind of leads us on to...
Visuals. Not too bad. Wasn't too bad.
For the most part.
Good stuff.
Yeah, the house was really nice.
The house was amazing. The shot when she's in the bed and one of the vampires is on the canopy, I thought that was really well done.
That kind of reminded me a bit of Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
Where they've got that fake wall and Freddy's pushing through.
Yeah, it has that look.
Yeah.
Stretching material. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
There were some pretty dire effects. I've written Burning Man. It was bad. I can't even remember what it was. Was it just like really
there were
2.
The guy that was burning at the altar wasn't bad because it was actual
that was
fire.
Real effects, yeah.
But then when she kicked the vampire guy, the vampire lord, into the fire, that just looked janky as hell.
It was bad CG, wasn't it?
The kick, the throwing back of them into the fire itself, the burning it, that just looked like an amateur.
And
effect.
having that as like the final climax of the film was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. I mean, this started so well, like you said earlier, about the Forced Darkness and the Library of the Candles.
That was really good. They had some great stuff in it, and then they ruined it with fake fire. They've done a fire effect already. Just do it
decent.
Again.
Yeah. It's called green screen. Use it.
That's the invitation.
Okay, I got a weird blank page in my document. Okay, next up. Margaux. Margaux.
Yeah, I spelled it wrong in my book, but I crossed it out. I don't know, I don't speak French.
Released on the 9th of September and directed by Stephen C. Miller. Stars Madison Petit, Vanessa Morgan, and Jedediah Goodacre. That's a great name. Runtime of 1 hour and 44 minutes.
Spook/gore. Started out super gory.
Yeah, that guy in that relaxing chair thing.
First kill.
Pop goes the weasel kind of springs to mind.
Yeah, he popped.
Well, he snapped his arm first because the bone come jutting out and
gets you into the mood for a
give it to me raw and
really
wriggling,
gory, scary film.
Yeah, let's go.
No.
Damn it.
It's another thing of falling victim to revealing the trope.
Yeah.
Way too soon. This is probably the worst, one of the worst in this list for this.
Do you know why they've done that, though? It's the classic cold open.
Yeah.
So many TV shows these days have that cold open.
Yeah.
And I'll use Brooklyn Nine-Nine as an example. They did it for every single episode.
Yes.
Cold opens, a bit of a punchline, and then it leads into the further story after the main sort of title sequence. That's exactly what they did here.
Yeah.
Don't need it in a film. Stop it.
I wouldn't even minded if the rest of the film had sort of followed on with a similar level of being frightening and gory, but it just didn't.
Are you saying this film wasn't frightening, Leanne?
It wasn't frightening. And just wait till we get to visuals for that. That's my opinion on the spook stuff. I don't know what yours is.
I mean, in terms of the spookiness, obviously the when she's in the pool, the social media girl, I can't remember her name.
Yeah.
The tag along. And you think, oh, she's going to die, and then it's a fake out, and she gets saved. And that was pretty cool. That was the tension there, and they kind of ramped that up. And I think that was probably the most tense moment of the movie.
Oh, yeah, it was. It was. Everything else, once they sort of revealed that stuff, it's like, you know, you don't have that thing of, are they going to make it? Are they not? You're just like, yeah, they're not making it. And
then you kind of think, oh, they're going to go completely balls to the wall when she starts going after 3 people at once as well. And it's like, you're overstretching, this isn't going to work. So again, that killed the tension because you know that's not going to work. The white blood for the clones that she made.
I thought that was interesting.
Aliens.
It is aliens. But, that's in visuals.
Yeah. I just kind of going through the sort of bits that I feel was more... Because obviously Alien, you think of the android in that, like Ash in the first film, or Bishop in the second. And it's quite... Oh my god, what the hell? You know, he gets his head knocked off and he's looking all contorted and there's white goo spraying everywhere. This was nothing of that caliber.
No.
And that's what it could have been, and that's what it should have been.
They could have picked any colour for the 3D modelling resin or whatever it was.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, completely get that.
Yeah.
Meh. What's not spooked? Story. House turned way too quick.
Yeah.
Couple of things. How can you hide from a house when you're in the house?
But she set a firewall up around the room, Leanne.
But she wasn't. This was after. So after, they're going right to the end where the house is now in this one of the girls. And then the main final girl.
Yeah, it's a clone,
our final girl is hiding from her. Not in her room where she's built the firewall, just like in the bathrooms, and she can't find her. She is in you.
I guess distraction techniques, but it wasn't at that point.
There wasn't. Yeah. It didn't make sense.
Yeah.
She was hiding.
Unless the house wanted to feel what it was like to be human and not...
Maybe.
But if that is the case, they didn't really show it very well.
The worst death scene? Why?
Oh.
Why?
Oh,
After all of this, the house is killing you, the house is killing all your friends, and one person slips...
It's the social media girl there.
She slips on some hair on the ground, lands on her head, and breaks her neck. And the house is probably there like, well, one less thing for me to do.
It's literally one in that, because she slipped on the hair, and it looked like she floated up 4 foot in the air, turned, and then crunched down on her head and snapped her neck. And it's like...
Why was that a choice?
Why?
Did they run out of things for the house to do and thought, well, she's an idiot, might as well just make her accidentally kill herself?
I like the way you used the word run there.
Yeah. Oh, what else have we got?
The reinforced glass.
Yes, that was my next thing.
So they literally threw chairs at it to try and break the glass. And it didn't budge,
nothing.
It didn't scratch, it didn't dent.
They can't escape, that's the whole thing.
Nothing. And then someone gets, I think it was kicked through the window and it just shatters like that. And I'm like, nah, bullshit.
Maybe she made it.
That is not how reinforced glass works.
Maybe, because she's a big 3D printer, maybe she made it less strong. That's
a stretch. Be careful now, because you're going to pull my score down lower than what it already is.
Oh, no. Yes, so, interesting concept for this film. I was very interested in the concept.
Yeah. We saw the trailer, we were like, yes, let's do it.
Full of plot holes, full of cliches.
One that I noticed as well, that android right at the end, that's she's taken over the social media girl, as it were, and it's the clone or whatever. And every other clone's bleeding white, and she starts bleeding white, and all of a sudden she starts bleeding red.
I put that in my visuals. It was like the arm was white.
Sorry,
leg,
what?
red. It was different limbs for doing different things, and then at the
that's not
pool
how it
of blood
works.
was different, and I put that down as well I put it in visuals, I think.
I think that's more of a plot point for me personally,
maybe.
because why would this thing be bleeding red now when it's made up of this white goo, this primer or printing or whatever you want to call it? That made no sense at all. And the clone of the girl, the tentacle goes through, also bleeds red.
Yeah, because I know they established when they first revealed that there were clones, they did the whole kissing scene, and then they dissolved into red, and she was like, I've been working on making it look more like blood, so I suppose it's that. But then why would some have red, some have white, and some have both?
That makes no sense at all. It was, that was
plot holes.
Yep.
Any other plot holes on your list?
Nope.
Cool. Whew,
I mean, let's not get into the Hannah and Drew thing, because they were kind of looking at wanting to neck each other and then didn't, then they wanted to, and they didn't, then they wanted to, and they didn't, then they wanted to. It's like, oh god, just shut up and kiss already!
That's what the house wanted.
Sound.
There were some good sound effects.
Yeah, I'll give them that.
And voice, particularly the voice when the android is using is
GLaDOS. It's called GLaDOS.
Basically. So it was the synthetic kind of voice.
It's like Siri.
Yeah, like Siri. Nothing particularly special, but some good stuff.
I mean, the calming style background music is quite a nice touch.
Yeah.
In a lot of the place, which is kind of cool. The white goo, when it was sculpting into different things, that was totally generic sound effects.
Yeah.
That you could probably hear in 50 million other things, which was awful.
Yeah.
And they kept playing the same ones over and over, and it's like, oh god. And again, much like we said with Note, some of the redubbing tracks were a bit...
yes. There was a really obvious one in this, wasn't there?
I believe. I can't
remember which one.
I've kind of retconned a lot of this in my mind, if I'm honest.
Some pretty good stuff. Alright, acting. Not bad.
To be fair, yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah.
The one thing I think where I think it fell flat was when Margaux was the clone of the girl, and then she overacted like crazy. But it's sort of part of the I'm now a megalomaniac house in a person's body, so it sort of fits, I suppose.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I think they did really well with what they had.
I got nothing else for that.
Cool.
It was okay.
It was okay. Villain, like we've said, started really interesting, but lost its way pretty quickly. The motive was sketchy. It was...
Was there a motive?
She was learning about humans, trying to not be logical, because humans aren't logical, and what's the most illogical thing? Cold-blooded murder, and that's the motive.
Yeah, that was trash.
I think that was almost word for word as well.
I don't even remember that. Yeah. I think I'd already tuned out at this point.
Oh yeah, she did a little monologue before dying, you know. Yeah. So yeah, it didn't make sense. How it was resolved. What did I mean? Oh yeah,
they infected some malware.
Yeah. But I don't know. It was just a bit
lackluster.
Yeah.
I liked that it was quite invasive and it was prying into everyone's lives.
Yeah, that was.
Like you obviously have to agree to that app at first, and obviously the one girl didn't. And she's like, I know nothing about you. Let's get to know each other. And she kept prying and prying and prying and prying. And she couldn't. But then as soon as the others walk in, it's like, boom! I know you. Because they've obviously gone through all different factors of the internet, looking through social media and stuff, and you know.
I did actually really like the breakfast scene.
Oh yeah.
Where all the guy wants is sloppy joes with I guess it's waffles with chocolate sauce.
Yeah.
And the house is just Margaux is just like, really?
I can make you 5,000 different recipes or whatever it is. Yeah.
Anything. Okay, I get you now. You are simple.
Yeah.
I thought that was quite nice.
That was kind of cool. Yeah.
Okay. Visuals.
Yep.
Oh. The robotic arms.
Should we start with the good stuff first?
Okay, go.
So the white goo paint on the walls. So like when it was changing, when she touched it, and that was kind of cool. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay. I was going to say something negative about the goop as well. But anything else good?
No, that's all I got.
The gore was pretty good with the squishing and the bones and things. Yeah. That was pretty good.
And when what's his face was chucking up the acid.
Yeah.
That was cool.
That was good.
That's about it.
So white goop. On the walls and the touching, very good.
Yes,
and that's practical effects.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
When it was forming into something,
janky as hell.
It was okay if you didn't look at the edges.
Yeah.
As soon as you look at the edges, like, oh no.
Damn it. But then, what else are you supposed to look at?
Just look right in the middle. It's just moving. It's fine. So that was one. The worst bit was the mechanical arms.
Yeah, the tentacle. I don't know what to call them, so I put tentacles. But arms is a better word.
Oh, they were bad. They've done so much else with this stuff. How did they get that so wrong?
They just didn't apply any lighting onto it. That's what it is. It's the basic model without any lighting effects.
So bad.
There was no shadowing. There was no highlights. There was no color changing with the light.
It was like being in a Roger Rabbit film or something. It's just a cartoon. So no to the visual.
Another trope that they got wrong was the blue lines when they're being electrocuted.
Yeah, they did that as well.
That was crap.
Took me back to Studio 666.
Yeah. I got the girl slips, falls 4 foot in the air, blah blah blah. And one last thing I noticed when Hannah and Drew, they've obviously gone down. They put the thing into the main frame.
Yeah.
She's fighting off the clones of all the dead friends at this point, and they started walking towards the front door. And I looked at the front door, and it's clearly just a piece of like a painting or something.
What?
And it looked awful.
It wasn't a real front door.
No, not the door. The door was open.
Okay.
The scenery outside was just like the crappiest picture of a forest I've ever seen.
I didn't see
like,
that.
That was awful.
I didn't see
Yeah. And then when they obviously she went back in and she killed it on blah 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 and she ran out the front door.
Yeah.
Everything was fine.
Uh-huh.
So I guess they just couldn't somehow turn the lights off on the set, or maybe it was filmed in a real location, and they didn't have any more night shots. But just oh look, it's already dawn. The sun's coming up. Screw it. Let's just use that, because what they put in there was ass.
I kind of want to go back and see that bit now. Yeah. Oh, this film could have been so much more.
They shot it from a lower kind of perspective to kind of offset it.
Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed in this one. It could have been. It could have been.
It could have been great. Margaux, ladies and gentlemen, don't waste your time, basically.
Where are we now?
Okay, next up we have Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. Mm-hmm. Released on the 9th of September and directed by Helena Rain. I hope I said that right. Main actors were Amanda Stenberg, Maria Bakalova, and Rachel Sennott. And there was a runtime of 1 hour and 34 minutes.
All right, spook.
Mm-hmm.
Spook.
Yep.
Hit and miss, I think, with the spook on this. You okay?
Okay, carry on.
Noises. Tension was pretty good.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
The use of liked the use of the darkness plus the storm sounds. Really added to
and
that.
And just the flashlights as the main source of sort of light, yeah.
It really it gave that feeling of isolation and being trapped, which led into it.
Yep.
I don't think I would say it's a scary film.
No.
And it wasn't really gory. There's some gore, but
barely.
It's, I guess, implied gore a lot of the time.
Yeah, I think for me, I said there's no real tension to speak of.
A little bit.
The arguments between the girls made the atmosphere aggressive.
Yeah.
But it wasn't really tense or scary.
No, I suppose.
It was just a bunch of girls shouting at each other, and it was like, well...
The scariest thing was how horrible teenagers can be.
Yeah.
Were they teenagers? I don't even know. Early 20s, probably.
Yeah, sort of, yeah.
You never know in
late
films,
teens,
because
early
they might
20s.
be early 20s acting as teenagers.
I was trying to figure out if they were in college, but that was the previous movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, yeah, maybe sort of early 20s at a push.
Yeah. Okay. Story.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was going to be really, really cliche, but it turned out to be pretty clever.
Yeah.
Cleverer than I expected.
Redeeming factor.
Yeah. There were deep storylines for, I think, all of the characters.
Yeah.
And a twist that, very unusually, neither of us saw coming, I don't think.
No, I didn't.
It was quite a twist.
Until you start to see the video start playing and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Really?
As soon as they found the phone, I was like, wait a minute.
This isn't my phone. And I love the way that she went over and opened his eyes, because he's laying there dead on the floor still. Opened his eyes to unlock his phone.
Because I feel like as soon as she picked up the phone, she knew there was something wrong.
Yeah.
It did try very hard. I don't know if it tried really hard to be current and like with all the young people slang and stuff, or if that's my perception because I am way past young people slang. So it
how do you think I feel?
It just feels unnatural to me because I'm way removed from it. Or were they trying too hard? We need the opinion of a young person to get that,
I have no idea, because I'm older than you, so...
But it was like a lot of those buzzwords they're using, like gaslighting and all sorts.
Yeah. And didn't one also kind of say, I don't even know what that means, is that even a real word, or like something like that, I think she said. She's kind of dismissive of it.
Yeah, lots of buzzwords.
Framing the older guy was cool, but it was obvious that wasn't going to be him.
Yeah, that was a predictable moment.
Yeah.
But I quite like how they executed that scene.
Yeah, it was well done, to be fair.
No pun intended.
Yeah, it was well done, to be fair.
Yeah, they're just trying to protect themselves. He has no idea what's going on, so of course he's going to be like freaking out a bit. Game, yeah. So I think it was well done, even though it was obvious what was going to happen to us. It wasn't to the characters. So that's something.
It did become a TED talk in some bits.
Yeah, it did a bit.
And the one thing that got me, well, there's two things that got me. So the Russian girl gets out of the house and it's pouring down. They kick her out of the house. She gets to the car.
Yeah.
She sits down in the car and she's safe. What's the first thing she does? Gets out of the car to go back to the house. Huh?
Yeah, she wants to make sure the person she loves is safe.
The person she loved is the one that basically kicked her out of the house.
But she still likes her.
But that felt a bit weird.
Yeah,
and then,
fair enough.
like, the power cut hits. Obviously, the storm's picking up and the power cut hits. And one of the girls goes, oh, is the Wi-Fi still on? No.
The young people, they might not understand Wi-Fi and electricity.
The power's out. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kids. I have given this film a bonus point, which I've chucked in story, just because I needed somewhere to go, because it does have outtakes at the end of the credits.
Oh yeah, I remember.
The last time I seen a film with outtakes at the credits, I think, was Rush Hour. Oh. All those films had outtakes during the credits. Is one
they
of
used
those.
to do that a lot in comedy films. They don't seem to do it anymore.
No, they don't.
I think American Pie used to do it. I think.
Yeah,
the Scary Movie.
I don't remember seeing one in Scary Movie, but it sounds like the sort of film that could. It's from that era, and it just like.
I think Dodgeball does.
And not all of them were like things going wrong outtakes, but they were like just the kids having a laugh every now and then, and kids, the actors.
Yeah.
And the one, I can't remember, she had like some note on her acting. I can't remember what the word was used, and she was like, I don't even know what that means, and then just riffing on that for a while, and that was quite fun. So yeah, like bonus point.
Yeah. If anything, deserves a story.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sound. I wouldn't say I like the music. Not my sort of music. But it did set the scene with like time period and the crowd that it's for, I suppose. Like I said, the storm sounds,
they were great.
Really good. Just like realistic, and
I think that was the best part of it.
Yeah.
I love storms.
I love storms.
So I think as soon as you get a really good storm track, oh yeah, I'm loving it.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah. And I mean, the concept of having a hurricane party, I don't know, but whatever. It adds to the tension and puts you in that setting. So good sound. Acting. Yep. Better than I expected.
Yeah, I put pretty decent.
Yeah, thought it was going to be terrible, to be honest.
Yeah.
But it was good, and they seemed to have a lot of fun with it as well, without making it, without taking you out of it, which is good. They were like enjoying just acting. Yeah. And a great range of emotions through it as well, just showing the scope of these actors. Yeah.
I got nothing else.
We good. Villain. It kept you guessing all the way through.
Yeah, it obviously I put the killer stalking through the night, never knowing who it was. Because that is kind of the thing until you get to the end, you're like, oh.
I mean, with all the things of villains and monsters being revealed too soon, this just nailed it. It did not reveal till the very end, and then there wasn't one.
It kind of harkens back to what I said about Saw on the part one, with the last sort of that last 5-10 minutes where everything just click into place.
But I suppose if you think about it, they were all the villains.
Yeah. So that's what I put in there. It's always present in some sense because they never know who the killer is, even though there isn't technically one. but I put the girls all turning on each other, and they kind of all take turns on being the villain.
Yeah, that's very
because
true.
there's always one part where one of them's being a complete asshole to the rest.
Because all humans are terrible at the end of the day, and when you throw in paranoia and fear, it's gonna cause problems, and people die, and that's sort of how it happened. Yeah, I did put all of the girls could have done it. They were all messed up in different ways.
Yeah.
I think the least likely to have been the murderer was the first one accused, and the first one who was actually killed by someone else.
Oh, is that the one that slipped on the stairs? Oh, the guy, yeah. When you say girls.
Yeah, any of the girls could have done it.
Yeah,
the guy couldn't.
Yeah, no.
It wasn't him.
No, I reckon he was he was trying to just find a nice, peaceful getaway.
You know what else I liked? The guy that didn't show up till the end.
Max, was it?
Yeah, Max, who was like suspect number 1 for so long, and then he turns out and like, what happened?
Yeah.
It was good. Yeah, we liked it. Visuals. I didn't have much to say other than the darkness that worked really well.
Yeah.
Although the girl, like when they're playing the game and meant to be hiding, and there's a girl running around with glow sticks all over her, it's like, okay.
But I did enjoy the visual though. That was a really cool visual.
Yeah, it was cool.
I mean, she was high off her tits, but you know.
Yeah, true. And the gore that they used was well done when they used it.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I put nothing really stood out because nothing really did stood out. The storm looked awesome.
Yeah.
That was
Love
really
a good storm. I wonder how because they had the bushes move in, and obviously the rain was.
I'd imagine it was a set built in a studio, and they had a rain machine there.
One of the outtakes, they showed them turning it on.
Oh yeah, they did. That's right.
So you've just got the guy that
But then you could do that outdoors anyway. So like Lord of the Rings did with Helm's Deep.
Yeah.
Gotta get Lord of the Rings in there somewhere.
Good. I enjoyed it.
Okay. Next up, film number 13. Unlucky for some. Was it unlucky for this film? My Best Friend's Exorcism. Released on the 30th of September on Amazon Prime. Directed by Damon Thomas. The main actors are Elsie Fisher, Amia Miller, and Rachel Ogechi Kanu. And it has a runtime of 1 hour and 37 minutes.
So, spook gore factor. I'm going to say 3 words that I think will sum up what I think about the spook gore factor. Raccoon jump scare. They had one. There were some pretty freaky things in it.
The Ouija board was, I thought, right, this is coming out, this is going to get tense.
Yeah.
It didn't.
No, it didn't. I think the scariest imagery was the tapeworm.
Yeah,
I think
that
was, but
that was pretty good, to be fair. And then the dog kind of peeks in and runs off. So the tapeworm, the Ouija board, and then the Margaret Thatcher mask. Yeah,
that's always going to be scary.
That was terrifying.
Not a scary film.
No, it wasn't.
But it
not
felt
gory
like
either.
It's for kids. That's what it sort of felt like to me.
Yeah.
And it probably
It wasn't until after we realised it's actually a 12-rated film, so I was like, God
it was came up at the start, didn't it? It's like,
I did after
it's
the
12.
end. Yeah.
Oh no.
We've committed now, so.
Raccoon jump scare.
Yeah.
Yes. Story.
Yeah.
Cliche.
Yeah.
Lazy writing.
Yeah.
Some funny bits.
Yeah.
What I did like was at the end they had the "Where are they now?" text for each of the characters. That was fun.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah.
Doesn't exactly make it a horror film, but it was fun.
I did love they snuck in a Jim Jones reference.
Yeah.
Talking about the Kool-Aid.
They did. There were some. I felt like very obvious calls to Mean Girls. It felt very Mean Girls. They were the sort of spreading rumors and turning each other against each other, especially with the tapeworm drink, which we didn't know what it was at the time.
Yeah.
Because in Mean Girls, the main character does give one of the girls a diet drink, but it's actually makes people put on weight.
Oh, okay.
So that was giving me as Mean Girls vibes. But then it turned out it was making her lose weight in the worst way possible. Yes, could have done more, I think, to make this a better story.
Quit with the puking.
Yeah, there's a lot of puking.
Quit with the goddamn puking. You're not The Exorcist. You're not Linda Blair. It looks awful. It's overdone. It's a trope. Constantine, or Constantine, if you want to go down that route, had possession in it and did not do puking. The Omen did not do puking. Stop it.
Yeah.
It's enough for the
Fair.
speaking.
Enough.
The one thing that bugged me, and this kind of rang in a sense for what I feel that religion's about as well, in a sense, and
Yeah.
I don't mean to offend anyone religious, but that's my personal view. The parents, highly religious,
Yeah.
and the nun, obviously in the school, were told that she may have been raped, and the only thing they were concerned about was the drugs.
Yeah,
That was ridiculous.
I think it's part of the story, but...
Yeah. But that's what I mean, is that actually probably happens.
Yeah, that's definitely
I
how
went to
some
a
people
party,
react.
I had some extracurricular substance, and I was raped. Oh, well, you should have been doing drugs. You brought that on yourself. That is probably what they would say.
It's horrible.
And that's disgusting.
It is. And as well as they didn't sort of put it on the girl who it happened to, which is fair. But
the one who's trying to
the
bring
one
light
who
to it.
tried to give the help is the one saying, "You're corrupting our daughter. This is all your fault. Get away from her," kind of stuff. Yeah, it was some hard-hitting stuff in there, which didn't really fit with the rest of the feel of it, so it made it feel wrong, I suppose.
Disjointed.
Yeah.
The other thing that I was wanting to get is like when, again, going back to the girl who was trying to help everyone and could see what was happening with the possessed girl, there was a part where the Asian girl was obviously in trouble, and this girl's trying to help is in the car, in the car park of the school, which is probably like, I don't know how many yards, like a good couple of hundred yards. She gets out of the car and starts shouting the girl's name. She's not going to hear you.
But at least it didn't make her get there in time, because that would have been worse, right?
Just felt janky.
Yeah. All right. Sound stuff.
Yep.
Did you get Stranger Things vibes from the music?
I did.
That's all I've written down.
Yeah. I put it's
for
completely
sound.
inspired by the 80s, and it kind of set the period quite well.
Yeah.
Because it was based in the 80s, obviously.
Yeah, agree with that.
Yeah, it's what I got. I put the sound is probably the strongest part of this movie.
It didn't get the highest score on mine, but...
It didn't get the highest score, but I think it was the strongest part.
Yeah, I do
a
feel
whole.
like they use Stranger Things style music because of Stranger Things, but...
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, it's Amazon Prime. It's a competing company.
That's very true. Yeah, so I guess they get a pass.
Yeah. No, I did get that.
Acting! Pretty meh. Wasn't great.
So,
They're young people,
I
guess.
thought for the majority they did well, except for Abby, the girl who's the best friend trying to help.
Yeah.
She felt way too forced.
It felt like she
Way
was
too
reading
forced.
lines a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just didn't feel good. The girl who was possessed, Gretchen, she did a fantastic
she
job.
did
I thought she
great.
was amazing. She could probably go far. I reckon she is going to go far at some point.
The the fitness guy. I guess it was on purpose.
Oh, yeah. Guy from Glow.
That was very overacted.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I guess it was the character.
It's the trope, isn't it? Because they're that traveling trio
Yeah.
of Christian brothers trying to.
And it's like still a boy, but in a man's body, trying to be the best and look and like make his mother
But
proud. I don't know.
I think it was probably because the other two brothers are bigger, they're bulkier.
Yeah.
They're probably the ones that all the girls are like, oh, look at him. And he is just like the twig in comparison. So he's probably trying to make himself be more present and more out there to be more...
Yeah.
Well, these guys got the looks, but this guy's got the mentality. He's got the attitude,
He can do
the presence.
exorcisms.
I think that's where they were going for with it.
Yeah.
I kind of liked his character. I like that actor. He's a good actor.
It was fun.
Going back to the Exorcism, the only time that Gretchen I felt fell short was when they had her tied to the bed to do the exorcism, and she just laughed, and it was like, what the hell was that? That was awful. Awful.
But that could have been the demon acting badly. Villain. A pretty standard cliche demon possession.
I mean, to be fair, it's quite sadistic.
Yeah.
Tormenting all the friends.
Yeah, definitely. It wasn't
Peanut
like
allergy, getting her to confess her love as a lesbian, and she's not interested, and that was dark.
That was.
The diet stuff. Showing the Christian brother's dead mother.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, pretty much. But it was defeated way too easily once it was out, and they were just like, it's this little thing. It's like, they just like killed it straight up.
Feisty little thing.
Like, no trying to banish it to the demon realms or anything. They just like kill it,
murder it straight up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Great. There was some fun aspects to it, and I can't even remember now. I think it was during the exorcism, and it just wasn't reacting the way that they thought it would. Yeah, it's quite good.
Yeah.
Quite good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Visuals. Pretty good stuff, most of it. The worm and the burning lady. There's a lot of burning people in these films.
demon itself looked pretty good.
Yeah, it was. It's sort of like almost cleft lip, tiny little goblin.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But like the CGI for that, it looked pretty damn good.
It didn't look like the arms in Margaux. That's for sure.
Considering that you mentioned the jump scare with the raccoon earlier, you could tell that raccoon was CGI.
I didn't know.
And it looked out of place.
Probably.
The color grading was off.
Ah, it was a bit bright for the background.
It was a bit too contrasted for the background.
Yeah, but it's cute.
It was, but you could tell.
Trash panda.
You could tell it was
making people jump all the time. Get out of here.
I like the flashbacks, and they had that kind of blurry filter. Yes, that was kind of cool.
It was good.
Because I think there's going to be a point, I think, on one of the next sort of films that we talk about where they do the flashbacks, and it's just like, or was it? No, it was Incantation, where they didn't even do it. It was just like boom, 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 boom. And it's like, well, how about you put a filter on it and kind of make it look like a flashback? And that's what they did in this, which I thought was quite cool.
Yeah, good. Some visuals not great. I put the throwing up, the vomit.
Yeah. I thought it was really well shot in general.
Yeah.
When they're in the haunted house, the color grading of that and the way the colors, that was really cool.
And that dark room where she puts her arm into the darkness and you can see like the tendrils of darkness on her.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm tempted to put my score up, but I'm not going.
Nope.
Not allowed. We've discussed
it.
it.
So that was my best friend's Exorcism. All right, next up, Leanne. Hellraiser. Oh yeah, Hellraiser, released the 7th of October, directed by Directed by David Bruckner. I don't know where I got Jerry from there. That
Jerry? That's a raccoon's name.
This is good. The main actors were Odessa Azion. I don't know if I said that right. I hope I have. Jamie Clayton, as in the female Jamie Clayton, because she's the one who plays Pinhead. And then Adam Faison. Second longest film on this whole thing is 2 hours and 1 minute. Leanne, take it away.
Spook. Gore.
Oh.
Gore.
I mean, look at them.
Yeah. It's body horror, right? That's a huge part of it, I think.
Yeah, I think,
especially with peeling and stuff. I think, I might be wrong, were they using practical effects, stop motion?
Correct. Well, they're just practical effects,
Practical effects. Because it sort of looks, part of me is like, oh, you can tell that it's not real because you can see it sort of almost juttering as things are moving, but at the same time...
Well, like the Cenobites or...
like when the skin's peeling, that sort of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, I prefer to see that than CGI, because then you know that it's computer generated, it's not real.
Yeah.
But this is like, it's something real. It might not look like polished, but you know it sort of feels more visceral. Yeah,
I mean, obviously we're kind of looking a bit more at visuals at this point.
Sorry.
No, it's fine, but like you can craft something in CGI in a CGI program or whatever you want to call it, probably Maya or Studio 3 Max, whatever they're using these days. And you can craft it and put a lot of effort into it. But I think that when you're making something in person, actually handling it and sculpting it with your hands, you feel a deeper connection, and like you almost put a lot more of yourself and your passion into it because you want it to look good under scrutinization. With a 3D model, there's too many, because you got the 3D modeler, you got the texturer, you got the animation riggers. But with this like doing, as you said, the practical effects, it's usually a team, but one person will be working on it, and you want it to look the best you can get it. And I think it doesn't. It's not quite the same as CGI.
No.
You know.
Yeah. No. Completely agree. I think to add to the scariness of this film, there was quite a lot, I think, that added to tension. Even just them using the puzzle box. As soon as you knew that completing a configuration would make a blade come out, every time they were manipulating it, you're just waiting. You know what's about to happen, but you don't know which click it's going to be. And then, is it going to stab her or is it going to not? Because
like the first one you see in the cold open, as it were, and he does it and it spikes through his hand.
Yeah.
And then the next time we see it, it's in that layman configuration, the box that we're used to seeing. And the girl, is kind of moving it and twisting it, and you're like, oh, and then she does it.
Her hands are more delicately on it.
Yeah.
Like,
and then the blade flicks out on a part that's not touching her, and it's like,
Yeah. And then they're in the background.
Yeah.
And just that first glimpse where you only just see the silhouette. They nailed it, I think, with the spooks on this one.
Yeah. I think it's the gore as well, as
Yes.
you know, body disfiguration. And
being pulled apart.
like the one thing that I've always liked with Jason, with Michael Myers, with Leatherface, with the Cenobites, they don't run.
No.
They just calmly walk.
Yeah, and
they will get you.
They will get you.
You know? And that's, I mean, obviously the Cenobites have the sort of, I guess, the powers, as it were.
Yes.
They can go down one thing and come back in another and whatever. But that it's that sort of the slow story. Or it follows. That's another good one. It follows. It's constantly going.
Sometimes I wonder if, like, if the camera goes off them for a minute, they're suddenly like, ah!
Yeah, run!
No! It's like that game, What's the Time, Mr. What? You'd, like... someone would have their back turned and everyone would have to try and get to them. But if they turned around, you have to stop still. And if you moved, you're out.
I know of that game. I don't think I ever played it.
That's the concept.
Yeah.
And
obviously the body disfiguration, as you say.
Yes.
The one thing that not sort of caught me off guard with this, because I've seen like 80-90% of the previous Hellraiser movies. I've seen 8 of the original 10. The last 2 were just cheap cash-ins to sort of not lose the rights and whatnot. Yeah. The disfiguration, all the costumes, as it were, of the Cenobites were just skin.
Yes.
There was no leather. There was no extra bits. It was just the skin and like pins and metal bits. That was it. And I was like, oh, I don't know about this. But then when you see it more, it's like, oh, that actually works really well.
Yeah. We'll get to that more.
Because I'm used to seeing Pinhead with the full black coat.
Yeah.
But then you got this Pinhead. It's just nothing. It's just the outfit's like made of skin.
Skin trousers.
It's like, wow.
Crazy looking. It's spooky. Story.
Yep.
There were some things that you could see coming quite well. I don't think it verges on predictable. It's just sometimes
there was enough breadcrumbs and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. It was a really good concept, I think, for what the box was in this version. And sort of I feel like it had more of a purpose in a way than in the previous films.
Yeah. I think it was a bit more of a character of its own right.
Yeah, so you do it and it sort of leads you somewhere, and then having it has to feed on blood. Basically.
Yeah, it has to have a sacrifice.
Yeah, to get there. So a series of sacrifices, and then it leads to Leviathan.
Whereas the previous box, it was just idle hands and curiosity, and then the Cenobites would come and take you.
So I felt like that was a really good concept. It gave the sacrifices meaning rather than just you did something with the box, so someone dies. Yeah. Although I'm not saying the old films were bad.
Oh no,
they were great, but it sort of puts a whole new dimension.
And again, for the most part, they were stop animation too.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You think of
practical effects.
Frank coming out of the floorboards as the skeleton. That's all. That's 1987. There's no way in hell that could be CGI at that point.
Nope.
It was all stop animation. It was crazy. It was so good.
Really good sort of characters, I think, in this as well. You got a very good range of different personalities and backstory. And it made sense for each of them to be in that house at the end. Yeah. It wasn't like they all come together because the story needs them to. It felt like there was purpose. Yeah. Which you don't actually get as often as you should in films like this. They just like end up placing people. They kind of get lost. Yeah, the little threads get lost a little bit. Yeah, and the sort of twist with the original guy.
Voight. I can't remember. Is it? Yeah. Max or
something Voight.
Can't remember. Yeah, something Voight.
With like his wish at the end had been sensation. But he did not realise that didn't mean pleasure in the sense of a human would think. There's
too many different ways of sensation.
That trap, I'll call it a trap, I suppose. The pulling at the nerves, and then it would stop, so that you'd never become numb to it. Yeah. That's such a well thought out idea.
Yeah, look like a clockwork machine.
Yeah.
And then obviously when that drops off him, I saw a little not behind the scenes video, where it's like a bunch of clips. Yeah. And I think it's Max. I can't, but it's got this all the suits on the back and all the skin knitting together. Yeah. It was done in step increments.
That looked so.
So it was actually a visual effect. I'd imagine there's a little bit of CGI in there. Yeah. But for the most part, it's a visual effect because they had all these different body pieces and was like, what?
Insane.
I love it.
I like the idea he was like throwing up the internal metallic parts as well. It
Yeah,
wasn't just that it went clonk, clonk.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
like the internal
It's
mechanism.
part of him, yeah. It's part of him, just
Yeah.
keeping him alive. We used to do the heart grow back as well.
Yeah,
So that's clearly pumping the blood around. So it had to have had something going up and
yeah.
yeah.
It was good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sound?
So I
Oh,
mean,
you got more.
just in the sense that this was more about greed as opposed to curiosity.
Yes.
Obviously, which we already kind of touched on, I just wanted to kind of put the word to it, as it were.
Yeah, that's very
As you say, this is configurations. This is a new twist on the box. I don't know if that's what the original book has. I haven't read the original book. I want to. I think I've got an audiobook ready to go to listen to. But I think it's going to be a lot closer to that, hopefully.
Yeah.
What's your pleasure? I think one of the Cenobites or someone says that to someone. And then one is, we have such sights to show you.
Yes.
2 direct lines from the movies, from the original film. And then they kind of played into that whole, I think someone called them demons. And then at the end, when Voight's getting taken and he's being converted, it looks like an angel with the thing on the back. And one of the lines in the original film, she says, "Who are you and what are you? Demons to some, angels to others."
Yeah.
It's one of the lines the Pinhead says.
They did say, I think when she was reading his White's book, not White, what's his face? Voight. She did say to someone he thought they were angels.
Oh, it's possible. Yeah, it's possible.
I'm sure
Yeah, you might be right.
that.
You might be right. I might have been writing a note at that point, but yeah, you might be right. Yeah.
Nice.
Sound.
The sound in this was real good.
Brutal, I think is the word you want to use.
I mean, in terms of like the background sort of soundscape, the music as such, they used very deep booming tones, which give it almost a grandiose feel.
And the music itself is a homage. It's kind of the same music from the original movies, but with a slight different. I don't quite know what to call
Inflection.
it. Yeah, maybe inflections. They change it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But you can tell it's the same music from the original film.
Yeah.
You know, and I clicked as soon as I heard it, I was like, "Oh, that's nice."
Yeah, it's good.
I like it. I like it.
You've obviously got the chain sounds quite a lot, which you know just sends shivers down your spine after you've seen these films.
Yeah.
And the body tearing sounds. Yeah, that's not something you forget.
And obviously, like in this particular version of the franchise or this particular one of the films, she isn't called Pinhead. She's called the Hell Priestess or the Hell Priest. But the voice with that sort of echoing bassiness to it, that's great.
It's like not quite human almost.
Yeah, that was great. I really liked that. But yeah, as you say, all the sounds visceral, fleshy, and brutal is what I've put.
Yeah, definitely. Acting. Real good. Excellent. I think everyone involved in this put on a great show, especially the main character woman.
Yeah. I can't remember her name.
With the portrayal of addiction and grief. And all that stuff. Amazing. And I've instantly forgotten what you said she was called, but Pinhead. Yeah, the Hell Priestess. Just that, I don't know, something about the way she moves or doesn't move. And
with the chains, all she would do is that, and then chains. You just know it's coming. Yeah. As soon as you see those 2 fingers moving, it's like, here we go. Someone's going to get wrecked.
I mean...
Yeah,
great.
I put phenomenal around, nothing really bad, but there wasn't really a breakout performance.
No, that's true.
So I couldn't give that top marks because it wasn't that like, oh, that was just so good.
No.
I think the Hell Priest kind of got there, and the Cenobites because obviously you're working in this prosthetic mask. One of them, which had the kind of the face peeled off and like a flat disc, I've seen the behind the scenes. It's actually a green screen mask on his head with this thing like a plate almost on his face, like a skin mask. It's like, oh my god.
Some of those designs.
And we didn't see a couple of them properly either.
No.
There was one that was a pregnant mother.
Oh, and I think I vaguely saw there was someone that looked pregnant,
But it's, I just see more of these designs. And the official Facebook page, not safe for work if your workplace doesn't appreciate gory stuff or horror stuff, but there's a lot of good sort of images on there of them.
Villain then. I mean, how can the Cenobites not be intriguing, horrifying, and almost beautiful
to
at the
me,
same time?
The Cenobites aren't the villains.
No.
The Cenobites are just doing the bidding of the Leviathan.
Yeah, true.
and the Leviathan's commanding the box. Voight and Trevor are the villains.
Yeah, that's very true.
When you think about it.
They're the selfish ones trying to use it for their own gain and not caring about who's sacrificed.
He wants power, he wants immortality, he wants sensation, whatever it is that he wants. That's his game. And he will do anything to anyone to get it. That's the villain. The Cenobites are just doing their job, effectively.
Yeah, true.
You know? But you're right, the Cenobites are like, wow.
There's something, I mean, you know that it's like, they've got pins in their head, they've got skin stretched where it shouldn't be and just torn all over the place, but there is something almost beautiful about the aesthetic.
And obviously these all used to be humans. They all used to be people.
Just even like the patterning on some of it. How?
Like the Hell Priest with the things in the throat, and it's on the back of the neck as well. Like the almost like the symbolisms of the box, or the symbols of the box. That's great. So good.
It's very good. They see themselves as doing good, not evil, but to the outside world because of what their view of sensation is. It's going to appear to be the villain.
I mean, we just kind of I did like the way they kind of revealed that Trevor and Voight were in it together. Yeah. Because I thought when he put his hands in his mouth, he's going to stab him or something. And I was like, oh, son of a bitch.
Yeah. I had a vague inkling that he was up to no good, but didn't quite think that far, I think.
Yeah. I knew he was up to something, but I didn't know. I think he just wanted to be, I don't want any part of this. It's kind of like he just kind of went, well, I want to be with this girl, but I don't think it's worth this. That's what I kind of thought the extent of it was.
Yeah. No, exactly. Cool.
And obviously then the underlying sort of story of it is technically a villain with the greed corrupt.
Yes.
And it can never really grant you what you want.
No, very true. I did like, I guess it's not in this section, that she decides not to take a gift. Yeah. But that is choosing one. Yeah. It's the choosing lament. Yeah. So that grief. She does take it and she suffers because she thinks she's not choosing one. I don't know, that's quite interesting.
And even in the original films, the box is called the Lament Configuration Box.
Yeah.
The box.
Visuals. I think we've said a lot about this already. Yeah. The skin peeling, the body knitting back together.
I don't think the one thing we haven't recovered is the designs of the box were great.
Yeah.
But how does all that stuff fit in that tiny ass box? My God.
Fiction! Fiction.
I want someone to actually make this box that changes into all 6 configurations.
Imagine.
Like the ultimate transformer.
Yeah. It'd probably be massive. It's beautiful.
One thing we didn't,
all the moving pieces.
Another thing we didn't touch on is the house.
Yeah.
Which he built to keep the Cenobites out and or in.
Yeah, so it had the metal framework, I think they called it, all around, including over the roof, and then switches through the house that would close it up completely or open it. I don't know if I felt like, well, my initial thought on seeing the framework was he'd been trying to create the box in a bigger form or something that would amplify the power of it or something. But I don't know if sort of the patterning being almost reminiscent of the box is what keeps the Cenobites in or out, or if it's something about the material. I don't know that we really got that. But I guess
I think they could have maybe done with a couple of lines just to sort of elaborate on it a little bit. That would have been cool.
I suppose with the sort of scenes in the office, he'd been studying these for an awfully long time. So I guess
which is kind of reminiscent, heading back to the original movies of Hellraiser 2, Hellbound, with Dr. Chynard, and he's kind of studying the box, and he's got in that mental hospital the people who are insane, and he's getting them to solve the puzzle to try and call the Cenobites, because that's his fascination. And it kind of, again, that kind of reminded me a lot of that, so it kind of all ties into that again.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's the Hellraiser 2 is the first time we see Leviathan, but it's in the depths of hell, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
You know, and again, the scenes where you see Leviathan coming down on the thing, and the hedge maze around the entire estate looks like the box.
Yeah. This is
so
crazy.
good.
Yeah.
So good.
Sounds great. Good film.
Yep.
All right.
Okay. Moving on to film number 15, Grimcutty. Released on the 10th of October. Why did you purse your lips so tight then? That was weird.
That's fine.
Released on the 10th of October. Directed by John Ross. The main actors are Sarah Wolfkind. Brilliant name. Shannon Sozamon and Usman Ali. And there's a runtime of 1 hour and 41 minutes.
Yeah. I have mixed feelings about this film. I think that's why I pursed my lips. Yeah. I was really expecting to be freaked out by it.
We should probably just preface slightly with anyone who has seen Momo, which was a few years ago now, I think.
Yeah, so
there
it was
that thing,
a sculpture.
It was a Japanese artist that did a sculpture, took a picture of it, and it just ended up becoming this massive, like, internet thing.
Yeah.
Like almost like a chain letter.
Yeah, like a chain letter. I think there was some challenges, but
then I think a lot of that challenge stuff come out of the Slenderman stuff.
Yeah, I think
so. Everything's got a knock-on effect, and this is obviously the newest one. But Grimcutty seems to be kind of loosely based on this Momo kind of thing. Because he kind of looks kind of like Momo.
The same concept.
Kinda.
But just seeing a picture of Momo, knowing that it's a sculpture that some artist has done, still looks freaky to me.
Yeah. The first time I saw that, I didn't know it was a sculpture. I was like, what the hell is that?
Yeah. This thing, I think maybe I tried too hard, or I expected too much. Not quite sure. But,
maybe. Okay.
So in terms of spook, obviously that wasn't as spooky as I expected it to be. That's fine. No. It was really creepy in places, and some of the movement of Grimcutty was done really well.
It was very. I think I put in visuals. Is it? No. Where did I put it? I did put a certain word in here. Okay.
I felt like there was a sense of helplessness.
Sorry, disproportionate.
Disproportionate, yes, definitely.
That's what I'm looking for.
I've written unavoidable peril, because it was the idea that the kids, the more they were asking for help, the more it was sort of feeding their parents' anxiety, which was feeding the monsters. The more they were trying to do, and was just making it worse, and they couldn't get out of it. So I think that was well done. It added the tension and just that feeling that there's no way out.
Yeah. It was certainly a good premise.
Yeah.
Execution, probably not so much.
Could have been better, yeah. Story?
Yeah.
Cool.
There's not really any gore.
No, there's no gore.
A couple of bits of stabbing and a couple of slices, but...
The slices were, I think, family friendly, I'd say, the slices.
I get the
film
feeling...
maybe not family friendly, but the slices were.
I get the feeling this on with something like My Best Friend's Exorcism are gateway films.
I think
so. This, I don't know the rating of this. I'd imagine it's either a 12A or a 15.
Yeah.
I'd probably say 15.
Probably 15.
But I think it's more of a teenagey gateway kind of...
So like,
which I am, and I'm not disappointed at the same time.
Yeah, there's got to be a way in without completely freaking people out the first time, so it's fine. Yeah. But yeah, with the cuts, you knew that there was a cut happening, but you didn't see blood. It was the angle or covered up before anything could happen, sort of thing. Yeah. So not gory at all.
Yeah.
Story, a really interesting concept.
Yes.
That is very relatable, which
especially in this day and age.
Yeah. It's based on real stuff, really. Well written, but some things didn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Plot holes. We love our plot holes.
Okay, yeah.
Like the younger brother gets attacked by Grimcutty and they have to take him to the hospital. He's attacked after he's using his laptop, and his parents find out he's using a laptop, so they freak out. That's why he gets attacked. At the hospital, the laptop is there. Why would they take the laptop that they didn't know the kid had to start with? The only thing I could think was, this is the last thing that happened before he hurt himself, so we'll take it to the hospital in case they need to look at it. But
why
it doesn't
would you
really
need to look at a laptop? Yeah, you wouldn't.
So,
on the topic of the laptop, what, 8, 9, 10 years old max?
Yeah.
This kid has a backup laptop when they put his laptop in the detox box.
He's a smart kid. He probably bought it off someone after making millions on the dark web or something.
I don't know. And then that's another thing, actually. I didn't put it in here because I could be forgot. The father's on about the dark web and stuff, and you can easily find something that no, you can't. The whole point of the dark web is it's not indexed. It's really hard to find stuff on the dark web.
Yeah, but he didn't know what he was talking about.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. So it's a plot hole.
But you knew he didn't. He wasn't meant to know what he was talking about. Is what I'm saying. I don't know. Doesn't matter.
But the boy didn't kind of just think it. And then going back to the detox box while I'm here as well, if I'd had that thing and it opened as easy as it did with that kitchen knife, I'm taking that son of a bitch back for a refund.
Yeah, if they just bought it, it's probably since all the parents were buying them, it's probably the last one left on the discount shelf. But the PlayStation controller did disappear from the box. Yes. I'm certain of that.
Oh, the laptop as well had the exact same stickers. The boy's laptop had the exact same stickers on both laptops. The one in the hospital and the one in the detox box, right? But the backup laptop did not have stickers on it, as far as I can remember.
Oh, I thought it did.
Might have, but...
Not that you know.
I don't know, yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
And then the daughter didn't realise that she stabbed her father. How?
I think she was freaking out.
You'd still know if you've pushed a sharp object into someone. I don't care who you are. I don't know how much you're freaking out. You would notice.
I reckon she knew she'd, like, hit him with it, but didn't realise how deep it went until she saw how much blood was on the scissors. That's what I took from that, but I might be and then, giving too much credit. I don't know. Last one,
okay? The daughter says to the mother, "You've known me my whole life."
It's just the thing you say, isn't it? It's a turn of phrase. We don't know. She could have been adopted.
No, that was awful. Awful line.
Yeah, plot holes, but overall, really interesting.
The concept idea,
really
good.
The idea that the thing that is dangerous isn't what kids are doing on the internet. It's what the parents are panicking about,
parents' reactions,
and putting that pressure on the kids when they're not actually doing anything wrong, and they're being made to feel like they must be stupid because their parents think they're going to do all this stupid stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, really interesting, and probably would hit home for some parents, I reckon.
Yeah.
Sound. I felt the use of tension music was pretty good.
Yeah.
Especially before you knew what the problem actually was. When the parents were trying to Google Grimcutty to find out what it was, that tension music kicked in. It was like, something is not right about what's happening here.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really good, foreshadowing. I'm not, like, into ASMR at all. It doesn't do anything for me. But I thought it was quite interesting that using that to enable her to use nature sounds to calm down and just put that just a like quiet before the storm kind of feeling for the audience.
Yeah.
So I thought that was well done.
I've kind of got the same. I'm not a fan of it. I don't really care for it, but it was well recorded and well used.
Yeah. It wasn't like a bunch of adults had decided they want to put ASMR stuff in a film, so let's just do some whispering. It was, they clearly knew what it's meant to sound like, and yeah. Well, I've never actually watched a video, so this is me assuming that they knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else on sound?
Nope.
Cool. Acting. I quite enjoyed it. I thought it was really good for the most part.
Yeah. The mother at the beginning of the movie just wasn't believable.
Yeah, there were some off moments.
That was like, she's looking at web pages, she's like, and it's just literally the Google lines, and she's like, and she's kind of freaking out.
It was established that she's crazy, though.
Well, yeah, but I mean the fact that the acting wasn't good.
Yeah.
The mother can freak out. That's fine. In the story, she could freak out, but the acting just wasn't believable.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It didn't look like panicking. It was just like a, oh no, a webpage. It just felt really janky and awful.
Yeah.
And...
I feel like the best of the acting was the children.
Yeah.
Especially the little boy in Crazy Lady's house. And the young brother,
yeah, the one that's locked up. Yeah.
I think, and the younger brother as well. Cameron, yeah. They were great. They were really good. It's hard being a child actor. Not that I'd ever know, but the stories you hear, and a lot of child actors are a little bit rubbish, but they're great. Good job.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I said there's some off moments, but there wasn't really anything for me that was off-putting.
Yeah. No. But nothing either stood out. So.
Nothing. It was not going to win an Oscar.
No.
Imagine this film winning an Oscar for anything. Well, villain. Well rooted in reality.
Yes.
Linked to very relatable and like real life stuff. The creature was fairly creepy, but it's another thing where I feel like they showed it too soon, way too soon, in literally the cold open. I know, I can see why they did it, because because it wasn't the real cause of things, it was the symptom. I guess it makes sense to reveal it at that point, but again, having the unknown would have made it feel more scary.
Yeah, as we said earlier, the disproportionateness of it, the way it looked, that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, this just being the manifestation of fear.
Yeah.
Basically. That was the
Very
saving grace of
smiley.
it. That was the saving grace.
I did love that it didn't feel unnatural that whenever it turned up to cut one of the children, there was a knife there already. I don't know how they made that not feel unnatural.
Yeah, well,
But
they just
it
kind of
doesn't-
had shots like go running to the kitchen or whatever.
Yeah.
usually, and it's-
I think that worked really well,
Yeah.
actually.
Mhm.
And where there wasn't a
Yeah.
knife, it was
I hadn't thought of that, actually.
a choking incident
Yeah,
instead
yeah.
or something.
Well, that's where the mother starts believing, because she sees the
Yeah.
boys being locked up, kind of just hanging in midair, and she can't see the Grimcutty, and it's like,
Yeah.
uh-oh,
That's
she
when
was
you know.
right. And then that's the same thing happens with the dad, and he's like,
Yeah.
he's got this shot of whatever, Xanax or whatever the hell it is, and he just jams it in his leg, because he's
Should've
like, I should have listened to my
trusted
daughter.
your wife.
And that's, again, I think that's another part of the whole thing, is that
Yeah.
you should, instead of freaking out, parents need to listen to their children more and
Yeah.
understand what they're saying.
I guess it got a little bit preachy at the end, where they basically said that out loud. Well, not out loud, in a whispered tone.
Yeah,
Listen.
but it wasn't right until the end, and
Yeah,
it wasn't
and it was-
really a TED talk. It was like a couple of lines, if
Yeah,
that.
it's related to.
Yeah.
And you got an ASMR channel, went through all that. Of course, you're going to do something about it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Great visuals.
Yeah.
I think apart from the monster, there wasn't anything really
No.
special.
I put that it looked real enough to be recognisable and intimidating even,
Yeah.
but it wasn't too real that it was too realistic to be believable.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know.
Yeah.
Because you get uncanny valley, which then kind of rips you in the other direction. It's like,
Yeah.
well, that looks like ass.
Mm-hmm.
This was the right point, right sort of amount of, it looks real, but it doesn't at the same time, because it is technically a figment of the children's imagination.
Yes.
And who's to say that that's not an image of something, much like Momo, okay? Who's to say that the manifestation of it didn't have a form until the first person went, this is
the
what it
other
looks
picture.
like.
Yeah.
And then everyone is seeing this picture and going, well, that's what it looks like, that's what I'm seeing,
Could be.
you know?
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else?
I put the lifting effects weren't brilliant, but
Yeah.
I don't know how they could have, thinking about it, I don't know how they'd have done it better.
I don't
'Cause
think.
you're being lifted
yeah.
by an invisible thing.
Mm.
The legs might have been swinging a bit too much, but
I think-
you're trying to get out,
Yeah,
so
I think it's-
maybe I think I might have been a bit.
I think the only thing I probably
quick
would
to
have
judge
done
on
is
it.
kind of tried to hammer on the arms if I'm something like, if someone's
Yeah.
got me by the throat, I'm either going for the face or I'm going to try and
and they
pressure
can't
on the
reach
arms
the
to
face.
try and,
They're
because you
children.
lose the grip.
Yeah,
You know, so you just start whacking down on the wrist.
yeah, that's true.
Try and break the wrist.
Cool. Good.
Grim. Okie dokie. Film number 16. We're on the last film, Leanne.
Oh,
Halloween Ends. What a fitting movie to finish this on.
yes.
Released on the 14th of October. Literally just under a week away. Just under a week ago, rather. Directed by David... I'm in trouble with names today. David Gordon Green. The main actors, obviously Jamie Lee Curtis, Clea Richards, and Anthony Matichak. I think I've said that right. I've said it how it looks. Runtime of 1 hour and 51 minutes.
Cool. Well, this is another gory one.
Mm.
I've put there was some good tension, but
Yeah.
we're mostly here for the blood and guts.
It's a slasher flick.
Yeah, it's a slasher flick.
But then slasher does kind of say tension, because you don't know who's going to get slashed and when.
Yeah.
And then, as you say, you just
There
got
was
the
some.
gore and the blood and the... And the...
The first death, I think, caught me by surprise. I knew something was going to happen to that kid, but literally
That was friggin' brutal.
falling over the banister, straight down,
It was like
right on his face,
3 or 4 stories.
flat on his face, squish.
Kid had it coming.
Oh, yeah,
Had it coming.
he really did.
Little bastard. If that was my kid, I'm throwing it. I wouldn't.
But yeah, really gory, and the end as well with the chipper.
Oh yeah, where the
Just
trash
seeing
could put the car compactor.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that crunch.
That was great.
Crunch.
Great.
You can see what sort of films I like from this, don't you?
How many
Apparently
bodies do you
I
think they
love
went through in
blood.
that compressor? Do you think?
Yeah. So I mean, it's everything we would expect, I think,
Yeah.
from a Halloween
The
film.
one that kind of got me is when Corey's being bullied by those kids and he
Yeah.
breaks the glass and he falls on it. And then in the hospital, the clinic, wherever, they're pulling the glass out of his hand. I've had a glass injury on my
Yeah.
hand. It's not fun. It's not pleasant. I don't recommend it. But that looked just super real. It's like, oh my
did.
god, that's nasty.
And that's not even like an attack.
No.
That was just it's essentially an accident.
Well, they pushed him back and then, yeah. So, Yeah.
Yeah,
but yeah, but I did feel that while you say there's a lot of gore, there wasn't overly lots.
No. It wasn't like it wasn't something that I think someone would go in and say, oh, that's just gore for gore's sake. Every kill had, apart from maybe had a purpose in story. So I guess this one had purpose in
this
story.
one specifically it does.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll cover it more in the story of it, but Michael's kind of weakened at this point.
Yes.
So it's not like Halloween 2018 or Halloween Kills where he's jamming people with like light tubes in their throat and just ripping people's heads off and stuff like that. Because this feels a bit more premeditated because he knows he's probably not got much time left.
Yeah, and for the most part, this is a human killing humans rather than a superhuman, for lack of a better word. Because Michael, whatever he is, has more strength than the average person.
It depends on...
Like a vampire.
It depends on if they're still holding... Because, I mean, this is kind of like a retcon of the... Everything from the first... Well, apart from the first movie, Halloween 1978, everything after that point is retcon and is replaced with these. In the original canon of it, it was a curse.
Yeah.
That's what it was, and that's why it was inhuman or superhuman, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, but still stronger than your average man. Yeah, okay. Should we go to story, or you got more?
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah.
Also, that opening scene.
Yeah.
Wow, they didn't rehash the old, and I think this opening scene is quite a good sort of concept of that. So you've got the babysitter and the kid, and they're watching a horror movie, and the kid even says, they're watching the thing, that Michael Myers didn't kill kids, he kills babysitters. But then they just flip it right on its head, and you've got babysitter kills kid accidentally, vividly. So it just, the whole sort of thing, it felt like a Halloween film. It didn't feel like it didn't fit in the franchise. Yeah. But it didn't sort of rely on the old tropes and just rehash the same old thing, which some of the older sequels maybe fell into the trap of a little bit. Which
is where the whole curse thing came from, and like Friday the 13th, where Jason's this worm thing, manifestation of evil, and Jason goes to hell and is jumping from body to body, and it's like, what?
Yeah, so a new spin, different focus.
Yeah.
And also a satisfying way to close out the story, which I was a bit worried how they were going to do it, because the whole thing has been, you can't kill him. He's like always going to come back.
But you can't kill Laurie either.
No. But he ain't coming back from that.
No.
Unless he's a worm or something.
I did feel this one was a bit more of a slow burn than the others, but obviously they had to establish Corey as the what do you want to call it? Copycat?
Yeah.
Replacement?
I suppose so.
I don't know what to call it.
Trainee.
But I like there's a lot of fun light-hearted moments in her as well, like Laurie's in the supermarket and she's talking to the other guy, I think he's a former cop if I remember rightly, and they're kind of almost flirting.
Yes.
Like they're teenagers, and it's like, this is quite quirky and I'm kind of liking it.
I really liked that, trying to establish Laurie is getting back into life, back into the world.
We should preface, this is 4 years after Halloween Kills, so Michael's had the absolute shit beaten out of him. He stabbed Laurie's daughter, killed Laurie's daughter, then he's disappeared, and it's 4 years later.
Yeah, so she's getting back into the world, but then is still haunting her with the women outside the supermarket who have a go at her.
Yeah, that's the one who got the light tube stuck in her neck.
Yeah, she's still alive.
Yeah, exactly. What more do you want? But it's I put it. Where is that? Whole town is now supporting Michael and turned on Laurie. Because that's what it kind of felt like.
I guess because it's one of the things they said, because Michael's gone, as far as everyone knows, they want another boogeyman to blame, and the natural, you've got Laurie for bringing Michael to the town and luring him in. And
well, Michael's from the town in the first place.
Yeah, but
yeah.
And then Corey, who's the child killer, so the psycho and the freak show. So the town has created those monsters in their own minds to replace the monster that is sort of almost left a hole in their existence. Yeah. Oh, it got deep. Sorry.
I did feel that Corey was nowhere near as intimidating as Michael. He kind of was half-assing his way through it because he didn't quite know what he was doing.
A little bit.
There's a part in there when he's in that sort of the sewer thing or whatever you want to call it, and he's kind of shoving Mike. He's like, teach me. And then he takes the cop who's hitting on Alison down.
Yeah.
And then he kind of gets stabbed. Show me how to do it! Just take a knife and just...
Yeah. But the way his eyes were just following the knife it was going in, and the look on his face was... I think that was done pretty well.
Yeah. No, that was cool, but it's
Yeah.
I just felt some of it was a bit disjointed in that sense.
Yeah,
Like, show me how
bit.
to do it. Sure, show me how to stab someone. But you take the knife, and as Arya Stark would say, you stick them with the pointy end.
Yeah. It was interesting to sort of... I don't know whether the curse transferred or if because that look.
Well, they haven't
between
established
the
the
two of
curse in
them.
this particular timeline,
No.
so...
But because Laurie says that his eyes are different after his encounter with Michael, and she
Well,
can
they
see
do
him
that when
in
Michael
it.
looks into his soul and he's got him by the
Yeah.
throat.
So is that like something transfers, or just they see themselves in each other?
I think it's that.
and that sort of
I think Michael
yeah.
can kind of maybe... I don't know, maybe he has got some sort of power where he can read a person or see into their thoughts or something.
he just recognised that
Or,
this
yeah.
person was messed up
Yeah,
like him, sort of thing.
Yeah. Like, obviously, you accidentally kill a child, and then the whole town drags you through hell for it.
It changes you.
And it'll change you. I don't care who you are, it's going to change you. And you kind of get that, I guess, that almost like submissive look in your eyes.
Yeah.
And I guess that's what kind of Michael was having, because he was locked up in for like 40 years. And he probably had that because he couldn't see anyone, he couldn't talk. And he was just had that kind of, maybe that sort of thing, and maybe recognised the eyes and that was that,
Yeah, the darkness was in him all along.
I thought the final fight with Laurie was good.
Yeah.
It kind of looked like they were crucifying Michael on the kitchen
Little
table, which
How
is
many
cool.
knives do you need in one person?
Oh,
A
they
lot.
only had two.
Yeah, it was one in each hand, wasn't it?
One in each hand. The refrigerator jammed on his legs so
Yeah.
he couldn't move. And then she kind of stabbed him in it's either the chest or the gut. And then she kind of... The one... And this is probably going to visuals. But I'm gonna, when... Like the throat... With the stabbing motion, there's quite a violent motion.
Yeah.
When Laurie cuts his throat, it's a very smooth, just... And even the noise is like a...
Yeah. Gentle.
And it's just so... And it shows how lethal these knives actually are. You know? And then
She
obviously...
does the arm as well. Then.
Yeah, but then he kind of rips his hand out and he kind of... And he grabs her by the throat and it's like, oh, they're both going to die together. And I thought that's where it was going to end. But then obviously Alison comes in and she stops him, and then that's when he does the rest.
Yeah. Good. Right, sound. We spent a long time on story. This is fine. The theme is always a classic.
I mean, I think, just a quick side, a lot of people have been kind of bitching about the story. I don't see why.
I liked it.
I liked it.
I thought it was good for all the reasons we've just discussed.
Sound.
Sound. The theme. Classic. Good. Yeah.
But slight tweaks. Everyone's had a slight tweak.
It's like the opening with the pumpkin, and they've always done the pumpkin, but it's always got a little different twist to it. The stab and gore sounds, good stuff.
Yeah.
Getting just like flattened with a chain link fence and a vehicle.
God, yeah.
Yeah, sound great. No
Yep.
problems.
Like the classic synthesizer music, it kind of felt very 70s and
Yeah.
80s. But then they were kind of using modern kind of music as well from the radio station, which was kind of cool.
Oh, that radio station guy, grated. Acting.
Yep.
Great.
Yep.
Great.
Yep.
Wouldn't expect anything less.
Great all round. Jamie Lee Curtis, phenomenal.
Yep.
As
good.
always, it's to be expected.
Even the bully kids were compelling.
Yeah.
And they're like almost a bit part.
You kind of almost feel bad for them when they're getting slaughtered.
The parents of the kid who dies at the start, when you see them later on, just the grief just etched in their faces.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Just,
So even the dad's sort of talking about stopping and talking to Corey, he just kind of looks at him and he's just like, no, I can't, I couldn't. I just had to. And you do kind of feel it and you're like, oh.
Yeah, like that wasn't him.
Yeah.
That guy is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Villain. I mean, it's Michael Myers.
And Corey.
Seeing him change was really interesting. I feel like the losing the glasses was almost symbolic.
Yeah.
That's the like cracking points. That's just before he encounters Michael.
Yeah.
The sort of the hint of the supernatural, dropping things. When you don't really know if it's actually something supernatural, but it's the hint.
It's kind of towing that line, and it's like,
So it's like that's bond between them, and then when Michael turns on him, basically.
Yeah. Effectively.
Yeah, no, he's not sharing power.
It's kind of like Michael's weak at first. He couldn't do anything for himself.
Yeah.
But it seems that every time Corey killed someone else, he would get a bit stronger.
I felt that when Corey lured the horrible person, into the lair, that was almost feeding him
Yeah.
to sort of bring him back to what he was. So then, he's gained a bit of strength and then was able to go out and help on Corey's little jaunts.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
He turns him and then snaps his neck.
I did like that the mask is like looking aged and burnt.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, they didn't try and go for a new one. No. And you mentioned that in some angles it just looked like the original. Yeah,
there was one part in the fight in the kitchen where I literally just thought William Shatner, because it looked like William Shatner, and I was like, oh, that's weird.
I love that it's been the same visual, the same mask. They haven't changed it. And they change things so often in franchises that run this long, and they've kept it, and that's it's
even Freddy's face, like makeup and that has changed over the years, and Jason's hockey mask, Pinhead.
Yeah, but Michael Myers' mask.
Yeah,
always the same. Just gets a bit battered.
That was great.
Yeah, good. Anything else you got on villain?
No, not really.
Cool. Visuals. Some cool moments for me. There's the scene by the pool at the doctor's house when you've got the nurses around, and she goes out looking for him by the pool, and it's very, very dark.
Yeah.
And the camera is on her, but in the background, barely visible, you can just see this motion because Corey's back there stabbing the doctor. No sound.
Yeah.
Just you would hardly notice it if you weren't paying attention. Just so that was just really good.
That was cool. And it's at that point as well, you're kind of thinking, is he just doing this for Alison? Because this one was obviously knocking off the doctor.
I think that was the core motivation.
Yeah. But then obviously that kind of spiraled into the deeper kind of
once you
start
start
Michael.
like that was one of the lines that Laurie was saying to, I've forgotten the other lady's name, the granddaughter's
Alison.
name now, Alison. We've been saying it so much and I can't remember it. She was saying that she wanted to smash things, and Laurie said, smash what you want, but just be careful, it's addictive. And that's like, it's the same. Another shot that I loved was when in that fight in the kitchen, when Laurie's got the knife and you just get the reflection of Michael's face in it, like on the poster. I love that. It was really good.
Cool.
It was slightly looked like she was just getting the angle right.
Yeah.
A little bit, but I can forgive that.
But then if you're nervous, you might kind of be...
Yeah. It's good stuff. The gore was great. The kills, amazing. Good stuff. It looked great.
There was a really cool shot with the radio tower. I think it's when Alison and Corey went up there and it was all shrouded in fog.
Yes.
And it was lit up red. And that reminded me of Silent Hill, which was really cool.
Yes.
And then the lights went off. And then it went back on. It was like a rich red kind of light. And then it went off and it was dark, but you could still see the bits. And I thought that was really cool.
The tongue going around on the record.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that.
Apparently I love gore.
Yeah. I also love the use of the old movies.
Yeah.
The old footage. Not just from the last two, but the 1978 movie as well. You know, it literally didn't forget its roots. It literally referenced back right to that beginning movie, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, it's good. Remembered where it's come from.
Cool.
Good.
Anything else?
That's all I got.
Okay, that's all 16 movies. Okay.
Did it.
So, thank you for watching. I'm going to sort of, what we'll do now is we will draw up our tournament bracket. So I will have one, Leanne will have one, and we're going to make it up what we think was potentially the best ones. I'm not sure if we're going to be doing it on as we're doing it while we're talking about them, or if we're going to do it like you do your full bracket, I'll do my full bracket, and then we'll kind of see how it goes.
Okay.
We need to try and iron out the details of this.
We'll think about it.
But yeah, that'll be in chapter 3. It's chapter 2. We are aware the first one ran for about 2 hours. We're not sure how long this one's run.
Probably the same.
But we'll see. But yeah, take us away, Leanne.
Yeah, and thank you so much for watching. Like we said, the next video will be the actual ranking tournament style.
From quarters to finals.
Yeah, so out of all of these films, let us know in the comments what you think. What would you pick as your top? And what, from listening to us, do you think we'd pick as our top? Because it might be completely different.
I'll throw up the bracket again some point down here as we're talking about this.
Yeah. Please like this video if you liked it. We really appreciate all of your feedback and input. It we know people are watching, but, you know, hit that like, because then we'll know for sure, and then we'll feel happy about ourselves. Subscribe to the channel.
And then we won't go Michael Myers on your ass.
Subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when we drop new videos. Follow us on socials. Our link tree's in the description below, so you get all the latest stuff on there, and links to our Instagram, to our Twitter, Facebook, where we will post
whatever else we're on. I don't even know these days.
Those. But yeah, that we'll post on there once we've dropped the video. So if you don't get the notification, like if YouTube's playing up, then you can have a look on there. And you can talk to us on our socials as well. We like talking to people. Send us messages or comment on our stuff. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, until next time.
Don't let the Cenobites get you.
Don't play with puzzle boxes.
Yeah.
Unless you want to.
Don't succumb to greed.
Yeah. Bye!